Today we're putting the ChatGPT scalping strategy to the test. I asked it to give me a scalping strategy, and instead of just reading it and saying, "Sounds good," we're actually going to trade it. Starting with a clean $100 account. And we'll see if ChatGPT can really come up with something profitable, or if this is just one of those looks good on paper, blows up in real life ideas. If you like this kind of raw experiment, make sure to drop a like and subscribe so you don't miss the next test. Alright, let's jump in. Before we get into the trades, let me show you exactly how I got this strategy. I literally went on ChatGPT and typed in a simple prompt asking it to give me a scalping strategy for Forex. Here is the prompt that I use. I will put it on the screen for you guys to see, and here's the exact response it gave me. I'm not going to tweak anything. I'm going to trade it exactly the way ChatGPT wrote it. No extra filters, no cherry picking, just raw testing. So here's what the strategy looks like. We're going to be trading GBPUSD on the 5-minute chart, and the system is built using only basic indicators you can find inside MT4, no paid stuff, nothing fancy, just the classic tools. Here's what we're working with: EMA 50 and EMA 200 to filter the trend, Stochastic oscillator to catch pullbacks when the market gets overbought or oversold, and finally the RSI for momentum confirmation. Now, the rules are pretty straightforward. For a buy setup, the EMA 50 has to be above the EMA 200, so that tells us the trend is bullish. Then we wait for price to pull back near the EMA 50 without breaking under the EMA 200. At the same time, the stochastic needs to dip into oversold and start curling back up, while the RSI stays above 50. If all of that lines up, we enter a buy at the candle close. For a sell setup, it's just the opposite. Now, risk management is simple. Every trade uses just 10% risk of the account balance. Stop loss goes around 10 to 20 pips beyond the recent swing, and the target is usually 1.5 R, so about 15 to 30 pips profit, depending on the setup. Pretty tight, but that's the nature of scalping. So yeah, that's the exact step-by-step checklist that I'll be following in this experiment. Let's see if this scalping strategy can actually hold up in live trades. Alright guys, let's get into the very first trade of this challenge. We're on GBPUSD, 5-minute chart, and everything lined up for a buy. EMA 50 is sitting above the EMA 200, so bias is bullish. Price just pulled back nicely to the EMA 50 without breaking the 200, and both the stochastic and RSI are giving the green light. Stock popped out of oversold, RSI holding above 50. So I pulled the trigger at 1.32966 with a 20 pip stop loss and 30 pip take profit. Lot size is 0.05, which actually risks about 10% of the account. Yeah, I know that's heavy, but remember, this is an experiment, so we're pushing it a little. And guess what? The setup actually played out perfectly. Price went straight into profit, climbed steadily, and smashed through my take profit level, plus 30 pips for the first trade of the challenge. Accounts now up to $115. Not a bad way to start at all. If every trade was this clean, this challenge would be over real quick. But of course, trading never works that way. Let's see how long we can keep this momentum going. Alright, jumping into trade 2 now. This time still on GBPUSD M5, and honestly, all the conditions lined up again. EMA 50 still above 200. Price pulled back right where I wanted it. Stock dipped into oversold and started curling up. RSI comfortably above 50, so no excuses. I had to take the setup. I went long at 1.32852 with just a 10 pip stop and a 15 pip target. Lot size came out at 0.11, so still keeping the risk around 10%. But man, this one didn't even give me a chance. Price dipped straight down, tagged my stop loss almost immediately, and that's a minus $11 hit. Balance drops back to $104. Not gonna lie, that stings a bit, especially after such a clean first win. But hey, this is trading. One loss doesn't kill the challenge, so let's shake it off and move on to the next setup. Alright guys, trade 3, and once again the conditions are ticking all the boxes. EMA 50 sitting above the 200, clean bullish bias, pullback right into the zone, Stock oversold turning up, RSI holding above 50. So yeah, I pulled the trigger on a buy at 1.32997. Stop loss set at 10 pips, target at 15 pips. Lot size 0.10. Honestly, this looked picture perfect. And man, this trade had me sweating. Price pushed up strong, came within literally a pip or two from smashing take profit, and I was already thinking, yes, we're back in business. But nope, market flipped on me hard, dragged all the way back down and straight into my stop. That's a minus $10 hit. Balance now down to $94. I'm not gonna lie, that one hurts way more than the last loss. Losing is one thing, but being this close to take profit before getting slapped, that's brutal. But hey, that's the scalper's life. Next setup, let's go. Alright, trade 4. This time I wasn't rushing in. I actually held back a bit because the RS I was still hovering near the 50 line, and I wanted that extra confirmation before clicking buy. Patience, right? So I jumped in on a buy at 1.33167. Stop loss at 11 pips. Take profit at 16.5 pips. Lot size 0.09. Oh man, this one finally played out exactly how I wanted. Clean entry, price climbed steadily, no fake outs, no stress. Straight up into take profit. That's a solid win. Balance climbs back to $108.85. Feels so much better after the last trade where we almost had it, but got slapped instead. This time the market actually rewarded the patience, and honestly, it gave me a bit of confidence back in the strategy. Okay, on to trade 5. Entries are buy at 1.33568. Stop loss tucked 15 pips below. Target 22.5 pips above. Lot size just right for the balance. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Why are all these trades buys? Trust me, I've noticed it too. It's not me forcing anything. These are just the signals the strategy keeps giving. Sometimes the market leans one way, and if the system says it's valid, I stick to the rules. No shortcuts. Anyway, this setup looked super clean. We had EMA 50 still holding above the 200. RSI pushing confidently over 50, and stock already turning up out of oversold. Textbook stuff. This one didn't even mess around. Straight push into take profit, no hesitation. Balance now jumps up to $124.60. That's back-to-back wins, and honestly, I'm starting to feel like this strategy might actually have some legs. At least when the trend is this clear. But hey, let's not get carried away. The market loves to humble you right after a win streak. Alright, next setup rolling in. Buy entry at 1.33750. Stop loss set 15 pips below, target 22.5 pips above. Lot size at 0.08, keeping the risk steady. Conditions lined up beautifully again. EMA 50 still above the 200, RSI comfortably over 50, and Stochastic just bouncing right out of oversold. Price pulled back perfectly into the zone and gave me that confirmation candle I was waiting for. So we're in the trade, and honestly, I'm feeling good about this one. It's one of those setups where everything just clicks together. And boom, take profit smashed. Balance shoots up to $142.60. Honestly, I think I'm gonna stop here. That's a solid run. And finishing off with another clean winner feels like the right time to wrap this challenge. We started this account with $100, and in just 2 days, we managed to grow it to $142.60. That's more than 40% growth. Out of the 6 trades, only 2 were losses, giving us around a 66% win rate. Sounds pretty solid, right? But let's keep it real here. This is only a handful of trades. A strategy can look amazing in the short term, but if you actually want to use it, you've got to do proper backtesting and see how it performs over hundreds of trades, not just 6. Honestly, I'll say I got a little lucky catching clean winners like this, and we all know trading isn't always this smooth, but as an experiment, it shows the potential, and also the risks, of letting ChatGPT cook up a scalping strategy. If you enjoyed this run, make sure to hit that like button and drop a comment if you want me to extend this into a longer challenge or test out a completely different setup. And of course, subscribe so you don't miss the next experiment. As always, trade smart, stay safe.